Hey guys, to some people, the passion we have against the Fed can seem almost cult-like. Not every problem is caused by the Fed, they claim. Now, the Fed causes a lot of problems, inflation, recessions, bank panics, but one of the biggest is the role it plays in financing new crises. In essence, the Fed plays venture capitalist to the crisis industrial complex, financing each crisis in that vulnerable early stage when voters might not be up for paying $14 trillion to run around Afghanistan, or $7 trillion to pay people not to work, or the $50 to $90 trillion, not a joke, they want for a Green New Deal. This bridge financing is important in that early stage when the product's not really off the ground yet. Like offering a free trial to get somebody to subscribe, it has to be free long enough for the parasitic supporting infrastructure of academics, activists, media, and crony companies to build up to metastasize. That venture stage manufactures the consensus, it identifies and censors the dangerous conspiracy theories, it keeps the money flowing to the opportunists who will sustain it as a permanent parasite. The venture capital life cycle of a crisis, brought to you by your local central bank. How does the Fed do this? By buying up government bonds. This hides the deficit, so the cost of the war, the pandemic, the Green New Deal, it's all just numbers for now. If they do it well, like in 2008 or 2020, this money printer funded AstroTurf campaign can get voters to literally demand government fix the crisis. That government take yet more of their treasure, their rights, their blood, anything to make the pain go away, to make the fear subside. Now, throughout American history, these crises have tipped the balance to ever-growing government. World War I was the debut. A war of choice kicked off just months after the Fed was founded. The war bumped the federal take from about 2% to 6% of GDP. That's a tripling in 4 years. Then the Depression, World War II, wars in Korea, Vietnam, Middle East, all fortified with a permanent environmental crisis. These all drove the take up past 20%. Despite the fall of the Soviet Union, their best-selling crisis, the new century has delivered a bumper crop for the industrial complex, starting with 2008, when yet another Fed-engineered financial crash took down the global economy. Then, of course, our most recent blockbuster crisis, as the COVID panic led to amazing growth in both budget and power of governments around the world. In the US, the lockdowns drove government spending up by nearly 7% of GDP. That's nearly what the people spend on food every year. In a sense, the lockdown crisis was too good for them. They took too much too fast, leading to potentially catastrophic economic and financial disruption that we're only now waking up to. So where do we go from here? The crises will keep going as long as central banks exist. Climate, systemic racism, wars, perhaps a crisis big enough to impose a UBI to turn voters into obedient clients, and enforce with a CBDC that rewards one's friends and punishes one's enemies. An endless ratchet taking our freedoms, our prosperity, even our social peace. All of this, so much more, brought to you by your friends at the Federal Reserve. All right, I've got the numbers and the charts over the Substack. See you guys next time.